All right, let's get into it. Today, we're firing up a propeller and flying straight into a children's classic that is just as chaotic as it is charming. You know, it's a question you see in a lot of stories, but man, few answer it with the kind of joyful chaos we see here. This is the story of a lonely kid and the very, very real, very strange man who just flies in through his window.
Of course, we're talking about Karlsson on the Roof. This is a masterpiece from Astrid Lindgren, the same person who gave us Pippi Longstocking. And, just like Pippi, Karlsson is a character who basically lives completely outside the rules of the grown-up world.
So, to really get a handle on the whirlwind that is Karlsson, first, you gotta understand the world he's about to crash into. And that world, it belongs to a little boy nicknamed Lillebror, which just means little brother.
And the book really hammers this home, just how normal Lillebror's life is. I mean, he has a normal family, normal siblings, normal ripped pants, even normal unwashed ears. Everything is just perfectly, almost painfully ordinary. And that right there, that's the heart of the problem. In this world where everyone seems to have a partner, Lillebror feels completely alone. He wants a dog so badly, but his parents keep saying no. He's this kid who is just so desperate for a friend, you almost feel like he's about to make one up.
But then, one evening, all that quiet loneliness is just shattered by something completely, extraordinary.
So Lillebror hears this faint buzzing sound, kind of like a bumblebee. It gets louder and louder until this short, stout little man comes flying right past his window on the 3rd floor. He does a little loop-de-loop around the chimney, buzzes by again like a tiny fighter jet, and then just stops, hovering right there.
Okay, so who is this guy? Let's break it down. He introduces himself as just Karlsson. He says he lives in a little house hidden behind the chimney. He can fly, all thanks to this little propeller on his back that he turns on with a button right on his belly. And his self-confidence? Oh, it's completely off the charts. He thinks he's handsome, brilliant, perfectly stout, and, this is the big one, he's the best in the world at, literally everything. So, how do you start a friendship with someone who calls himself the best in the world? Well, with a little bit of chaos and destruction, of course. So, Karlsson immediately sees Lillebror's toy steam engine. Lillebror is like, hey, I'm not allowed to run that by myself, but Karlsson just waves it off because, naturally, he is the best steam engine minder in the world. So what does he do? He spills some fuel, accidentally sets the bookshelf on fire, which Lillebror has to scramble to put out, and then he starts messing with the engine's safety valve. And then, this. Just a huge boom. The steam engine is just gone, blown to pieces, parts flying everywhere. And get this, while Lillebror is basically in tears over his favorite toy being destroyed, Karlsson is thrilled. He's completely delighted. For him, the explosion wasn't a mistake. It was the absolute coolest thing a steam engine could ever do. And right here, we get our first taste of Karlsson's signature catchphrase. The burnt bookshelf, the shattered toy, doesn't bother a great mind. You see, in Karlsson's view, consequences are just trivial little things for other people to worry about. And this kind of thing just keeps happening. Like one day, Karlsson smells meatballs cooking downstairs and demands that Lillebror get him some. So Lillebror sneaks 6 of them from his mom, but when he gets back to his room, Karlsson's gone. Poof! But he's left something behind. A super tall, skinny tower made of blocks with a single perfect meatball sitting right on top. Okay, but to really, truly understand this character, you have to wrap your head around his bizarre, totally self-serving logic. And there is no better example than the time Karlsson decides he has a fever and wants to play sick. So Karlsson says his special cook-a-la-muck medicine, which is basically just candy and cake crumbs mixed together, will cure his fever. Lillebror's not buying it. And that's when Karlsson springs the trap. He goes, shall we bet? The prize? A chocolate bar. The bet? That the medicine will work. Okay, now look at this. This is where Karlsson's twisted genius really shines. So he takes the medicine, and then he says it didn't work. So Lillebror won the bet, right? But then Karlsson says, well, since you won, it's only fair that I get the chocolate bar as a price for you winning. And he eats it. So they bet again. This time, Karlsson takes a double dose, and he jumps out of bed, totally cured. It's a miracle. So what does he say to Lillebror? You've won again. Now hand over the chocolate bar. See?
In Karlsson's world, no matter what happens, he gets the chocolate. It's absolutely flawless logic.
And that is the absolute core of their friendship. Lilleborg lives in this world of rules and loneliness and consequences. Karlsson, he lives in a world where none of that exists. He is basically a walking, flying, talking version of pure impulse. He's greedy, he's selfish, he's arrogant, but he's also full of joy, excitement, and he is completely free. He is exactly the kind of friend a lonely, ordinary little boy needs. So where does that leave us? I mean, is Karlsson just the ultimate agent of chaos? A terrible influence who teaches all the wrong things? Or is he something more? Is he maybe that unfiltered, selfish, but joyful voice that's inside every kid who's told to be good? A necessary fantasy brought to life, proving that sometimes the best way to handle an ordinary world is to blow a little piece of it up.